During a recent episode of the Joe Budden podcast, our illustrious podfather blessed us with a unique insight into his thoughts about the cancellation of Charlamagne, that God show on Comedy Central.
I gave y'all this one because I was being polite, but
fuck it, go ahead.
Here we go.
I'm about to get some off.
Alexander says, apologies in advance. This is kind of long. Pause. What's good, everybody? My question or topic is mainly for Joe, but I would love to hear everyone else chime in too. Joe, as a longtime fan of yourself and also Charlamagne, I'm very curious to know what is exactly you guys' beef. I ask because in conversation, some as recently as Wednesday's pod, with the Kev on Stage topic, we speak on hip-hop outlets and how they are not ran by people who actually participate and come from the hip-hop space. And as a fan of both of you, I believe you two, maybe along with Ak as well, could come together and really make that happen in a way we haven't seen before. The only difference I can really see is how you choose to go about the funding of said content. For example, you, Joe, stand on the side of 100% ownership of everything you do. And that's not true. While Charlamagne takes the approach more of a 50-50 partnerships with other entities. This is no shot in either direction, but seeing how you guys have different focuses on things in your careers, it makes sense. While you, Joe, currently solely focus only on building your network, that's not true either. He has his hands in other pots, along with co-running his network. Again, not a shot in either direction, just my observation. But I am curious to know if you guys could or would come together to create the black-owned and ran space for us in hip-hop. In a roundabout way, it could be a win-win situation. A network that both of you build up while you focus on the more hands-on with the making of content. Charlamagne could be helping to fund and still have his outside ventures too, while you both come together and still do things like the yearly wrap-ups and early pull-ups that you have done together before. Just my thoughts, but would love to hear yours. Thanks. All right, Alexander. No. Get it how you live it, nigga.
That coming a mile
Get it
away.
how you live it. Sink or swim, nigga. It's over for that. I told you. I am done with all that happy to be here, kumbaya, unity, harmonious shit y'all want me to be on. F*** all that.
Okay. All right.
Hope that answered your question, bro.
Because if we ask you why, then it's going to be...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter,
I don't
yeah.
fuck with these niggas. Fuck these niggas.
I think I found out the real reason why, too. I heard about it, and when I asked you privately, you ain't tell me. I'm just saying.
You can't. You can't, because it's not really a real reason outside of who the fuck want to do all that?
No. Well, I respect it.
There's no real reason. You can go digging. Ain't nothing there. Charlamagne's show was canceled. That's the story. I'm not adding nothing to it. I'm not putting no funk or no sauce on it. I'm not making it a big something to do. People lose shows all the time. And I'm sure he'll be fine. But he lost his show on Comedy Central. Mm-hmm. Actually, both of the Stephen Colbert shows. No more. So, that's that. Shit was whack.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, what else we got?
Think the writer's strike had anything to do with that?
You think they have writers?
I don't know. I was just reading that they talk about the
you think they have
the
writers
actors are
that
going
belong
next
to like a union?
The SAG strike?
Yeah.
That was what they said the last strike back in 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
The writer's strike lasted like 3 months and SAG was pending. It usually happens that way. It's probably not going to.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of actors are on the picket lines already. Just, kind of
solidarity.
Yeah, solidarity.
Support. I know. I saw one of the primetime networks fall schedule. It looked bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, salute. Or prayers.
Salute.
I stand with the writers, and more you bitch asses in music should do the same.
Word.
That's the strike I'm waiting for.
Word.
Artist.
Yeah.
Musician, period.
The recent tete-a-tete betwixt a zealous aficionado and Joe Budden on his podcast concerning his ongoing feud with Charlamagne, a radio and TV personality, and the conceivable prospect of their harmonious collaboration on a black-owned and operated hip-hop media establishment, begets a plethora of salient issues. Notwithstanding Joe Budden's peremptory dismissal of the query, there exists a cornucopia of topics warranting cogitation, encompassing the role of black-owned media in the hip-hop industry, the ramifications of rivalries and animosities, and the indispensability of solidarity amidst the creative intelligentsia. Joe Budden's disinclination to engage in a collaborative endeavor with Charlamagne likely stems from their acrimonious history. Albeit he refrains from expounding upon the genesis of their enmity, it is manifestly evident that an undercurrent of tension pervades their relationship, which remains unresolved. This serves to underscore the quandary of collaborating with individuals bereft of trust or esteem, even when the potential dividends of such an alliance are substantial. The fans' proposition of a black-owned and operated hip-hop media outlet is a proposition of momentous import. The hip-hop industry has historically been ensconced within the clutches of white-owned media establishments, which have oftentimes distorted and exploited the narratives of black artists. By birthing a black-owned and operated media outlet, black artists can assert greater dominion over their own narratives, whilst promoting their own values and cultural heritage. However, Joe Budden's cavalier dismissal of the query may be indicative of a broader trend within hip-hop culture, wherein rivalries and animosities are frequently exalted and encouraged. Whilst healthy competition can serve as a catalyst for progress, it is imperative to acknowledge that it can also engender schisms and impede opportunities for collaboration and growth. It is also germane to contemplate the potential repercussions of the ongoing writers' and actors' strikes within the television industry, as fleetingly alluded to by Joe Budden's co-hosts. These strikes underscore the exigency of equitable remuneration and working conditions for creative professionals, as well as the necessity for solidarity and collective action. By expressing solidarity with the writers' strike and advocating for equitable remuneration and working conditions within the music industry, Joe Budden and his co-hosts can contribute to the construction of a more equitable and sustainable entertainment industry. This serves to underscore the potential for musicians and other cultural influencers to utilize their platforms as conduits for shaping public discourse and effectuating social change. Furthermore, the fans' query regarding a black-owned and operated media outlet engenders cogitation concerning the themes of representation and diversity within the hip-hop industry. Whilst black artists have made indelible contributions to the annals of hip-hop, they have oftentimes been marginalized and excluded from positions of power and influence. By fostering the creation and support of black-owned and operated media outlets, we can endeavor to rectify these imbalances and foster a more inclusive and equitable hip-hop culture. Joe Budden's mention of Charlamagne's defunct show on Comedy Central also engenders intriguing ruminations concerning the role of mainstream media within hip-hop culture. Whilst it is true that numerous shows produced by mainstream media outlets are often bereft of inspiration and authenticity, it is also worth noting that these outlets possess substantial resources and reach, which can be harnessed to amplify black voices and perspectives. In summarily dismissing the prospect of unity and concord with Charlamagne, Joe Budden may be inadvertently overlooking an opportunity to contribute to the development of a more diverse and inclusive media landscape. Whilst it is understandable that he cherishes his independence and creative autonomy, collaboration can engender novel opportunities, perspectives, and audiences. Moreover, the notion of a black-owned and operated hip-hop media outlet is not an unprecedented one. There exist several instances of successful black-owned media outlets within the hip-hop industry, such as Bet and The Source. By building upon these precedents and forging novel models for black-owned and operated media outlets, we can continue to foster diversity and representation within the hip-hop industry. Finally, it is incumbent upon us to acknowledge the role of social media and streaming platforms in shaping the contemporary media landscape. These platforms have engendered novel modes of distribution and consumption, which have disrupted traditional media outlets and created fresh opportunities for independent creators. By embracing these nascent technologies and adapting to the evolving media landscape, Black-owned and operated media outlets can remain germane and reach novel audiences. In Denimon, the recent exchange between a zealous aficionado and Joe Budden on his podcast, concerning his ongoing feud with Charlamagne and the potential for collaboration on a Black-owned and operated hip-hop media outlet, engenders cogitation concerning the themes of representation, collaboration, and solidarity within the hip-hop industry. Notwithstanding Joe Budden's peremptory dismissal of the query, there exists a panoply of topics warranting exploration and discourse concerning the role of Black-owned media within the hip-hop industry and the potential for collaboration and innovation within this sphere. By actively engaging with these issues and fostering diversity and representation within the hip-hop industry, we can contribute to the creation of a more inclusive and equitable future for hip-hop culture.